YouTube? I'm back with another video. It's your girl CJ Lightning here, and I'm back on the YouTube thing again, back with another video. Today I decided to switch it up for you guys, and today I'm gonna be reacting to a certain video. So here's a little fun fact about me. If y'all don't know about me, that I am a Scorpio. I was born in between the months of October 21st, between November 23rd. So, which means I was born on November the 4th. So I'm considered a Scorpio. And I'm gonna watch a certain video that talks about a Scorpio signs. So the video I'm gonna be watching is called Messed Up Mythologies About Scorpios. So here we go. And the YouTuber I'm gonna react to is by the name of John Solo. So he's gonna be technically giving me a backstory of Scorpio signs. So without further ado, here we go.
Get finely crafted accessories that represent your astrological background at c.r.e.w. Link is in this video's description. What is going on, everybody? My name is John Solo, and the day has finally come. Hashtag Scorpio season is upon us, and you know what that means? Nothing at all. But I'm technically a Scorpio, so I think I'm supposed to be empowered this month. I mean, combine that with Mercury just getting out of retrograde a few weeks ago, and today being a Bones Day, and I wouldn't be surprised if my blood could cure cancer. In all seriousness, though, we all know Scorpio is the best of the astrological signs. It's really not even close. That is why all the other signs say we're the worst. But come on, are you really gonna trust an Aries with a judgment like that? They'll say anything to get ahead. That's why today I'm setting the record straight. We're gonna unpack the astrology and mythology of my sign, and you're gonna see why saying typical Scorpio is really just a compliment. Before we dive into it though, I do want to give a real quick shout out to this week's sponsor, revoscience.com. Listen, I make fun of astrology a lot in this series, but at the end of the day, I like that I get to say I'm a Scorpio, and I know there's a lot of you watching who feel the same way about your particular signs. That is where RevoSigns comes in. They make premium quality rings and bracelets that reflect your astrological sign and the planet that controls it. Every ring has unique carvings portraying the constellation and symbology for each sign, while the bracelets have a model of their respective planets. Their website even has small write-ups breaking down the astrology of the signs for those who are new to the field or just want to hear another perspective, which was actually pretty helpful for me to cross-reference in my research. Whether you're an Aquarius, a Pisces, a Leo, or a Gemini, you should be proud to represent your astrological sign, and even more so when you have a unique piece of high-quality art to do it. So go to revoscience.com and use code SOLO at checkout to get 15% off your entire order. But now let's talk about Scorpio. Scorpio is the 8th sign in the Western zodiac and is typically active from my birthday on October 23rd to November 21st, the day after my sister's birthday. The name Scorpio comes from the constellation Scorpius, which is Latin for scorpion. I know, hard to believe, but it's true, and apparently that's what the symbol is supposed to represent. See that little tail? Another fact I found hard to believe is that Scorpio is apparently a water sign. I thought we'd be associated with fire because of our reputation for intensity and the fact that scorpions live in the desert. Then I found this terrifying article about giant prehistoric sea scorpions, and it made a little more sense to me. Back to the constellation though, Scorpius is actually one of the oldest constellations we have on record. It was one of the 48 originals that were identified by the Greek astronomer Ptolemy. However, its identity predates the Greeks. The Babylonians, whose empire reigned from around 1900 BC to just shy of 500 BC, their word for it literally translates to the creature with a burning sting. And while you could argue that name could refer to a number of creatures, it's hard denying that the constellation looks like a scorpion's tail. It's also worth noting that Scorpius used to be quite a bit larger than it is today. It was even separated in two halves, the claws and the stinger. However, when the Romans took over, they shrunk Scorpius down to make room for a constellation that had been overshadowed by its claws since the days of the Babylonians, Libra, the balance. But what about the people born under Scorpio? People like Ryan Reynolds, Weird Al, Amelia Clark, and myself. What is it that makes us typical Scorpios, besides our natural good looks and effortless charisma? It turns out that Scorpios have always been associated with transformation, specifically the kind that happens after going through intense, stressful experiences experiences, which we tend to enter voluntarily because we have a death wish. What I mean by that is death in the metaphysical sense, an ego death, if you will. Similar to the phoenix, we voluntarily light ourselves on fire so we can rise from the ashes and soar to new heights. Because whenever we face what scares us voluntarily, our dead wood is burned off and we're granted wisdom, not just about ourselves, but the universe as a whole. This phenomenon doesn't just apply to Scorpios, of course. We can all gain wisdom in this way. But out of all the astrological signs, we enjoy and seek out these kinds of experiences the most, and that's why wisdom is the other quality attributed to Scorpios. Following this line of thought, it's also said that Scorpios have the ability to access meditative modes of thought much easier than others, which may be why we're associated with venomous creatures like the scorpion and snakes. In days of old, it was not uncommon for people to ingest very small amounts of venom to induce trance-like states similar to a psychedelic adventure, which just so happens to be my favorite kind. Because psychedelic adventures allow for the discovery, recognition, and acceptance of one's own demons. They put us on a transformative journey where we learn to embrace those demons and use them to empower us instead of holding us back. Interestingly enough, when the ancient Greeks would use psychedelics, they considered the journeys to be trips to the underworld, and the ruler of the underworld is Pluto, aka Hades, the same ruler of the Scorpio sign. I know, it's pretty interesting stuff. It kind of makes up for the fact that the myth explaining how Scorpius was placed in the sky is so short. Those of you who saw my video on Artemis, the goddess of the hunt, may remember me mentioning that she had a hunting companion, a giant named Orion, and in some versions of his story, they have a romantic relationship that's cut short when Apollo tricks Artemis into killing him. One day on the island of Crete, Orion was hunting alongside Artemis, and being that they were both masters of the hunt, Jägermeisters if you will, they had a pretty successful outing, and Orion was feeling himself just a little too much. He carelessly boasted, "If I wanted to, I could hunt down every beast on this earth and there was nothing anyone could do to stop me." And that was a stupid thing for him to say. Because Gaia, the ancient earth deity, heard him and took it as a sign of disrespect that he would so callously threaten the creatures who inhabit her. So she sent a giant scorpion to deal with his insolence. Depending on the version, Orion was killed in one of two ways. In the more heroic telling, the scorpion mistakenly strikes at Artemis instead of him, so he pushes her out of the way and takes the full force of its stinger. In the other versions, he faces the scorpion head on, determined to slay it and mount its claws on his wall. Orion was a fierce warrior, agile, powerful, and relentless. He struck the scorpion repeatedly with his bow and arrows as well as his sword, but its armor was just too thick. He could hardly penetrate it, and as the battle raged on, he became increasingly fatigued to the point where he was too slow to dodge the scorpion's stinger. With every strike it landed, more of its venom would flow through Orion's veins, burning like fire, and it wasn't long before he was too weak and in too much pain to go on. Accepting his fate, he shed his weapons and opened his arms to welcome the killing blow. The scorpion's stinger tore through his chest like a spear-tipped battering ram, killing him instantly. Then, to Artemis's horror, it threw his lifeless corpse into the waters below. Now, while Orion wasn't always the perfect gentleman, Artemis did consider him her companion and confidant, and it hurt her to see him discarded so carelessly. So, she prayed to her father Zeus for help, and you know from our episode about her that he can't say no to his little girl. To honor the hunter's bravery in battle and death, he turned him into a constellation that we still know to this day as Orion. And to honor the scorpion, who fought just as bravely against a fierce opponent, Zeus placed it in the sky as its own constellation, Scorpios. Though you'll never see it in the sky at the same time as Orion. That'd just be awkward, you know? And what's the lesson we learned from this myth? Stay humble, or the gods might send a giant scorpion to fuck your whole day up. Anyway, that about does it for today's breakdown of the best astrological sign. I really hope you all enjoyed it, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that description of the Scorpio archetype. Honestly, I'm pretty surprised by how much of it applied to me personally, but that doesn't mean I believe in astrology, okay? Don't get any ideas. Instead, just leave a comment down below telling me what you thought. Also, make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss our final 2 episodes on Sagittarius and Capricorn. Can't believe we're so close to the end. For those who want to stay updated on Messed Up Origins news, like when new videos are coming out and what they'll be about, or if you just want to slide into my DMs and offer a suggestion, follow me on social media. Links are in the description.
This video. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I hope that you learned just like how I learned something new about being a Scorpio. So if there's any Scorpios out there, please drop a like and a comment stating that you are a Scorpio and you're here for all us Scorpios. So thank you so much, guys, for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. But anyways, your girl CJ is out.